playing rhythm and lead at the same time, these elements are always present in their sound. Today I'm going to show you how you can improve in leaps and bounds, and it's not even a lot of work or endless hours of practicing. So basically, if you want to sound great, first of all, you've got to go to the source. So if you look at your heroes like Eric Clapton or Stevie Ray Vaughan, what makes them sound so great when they play? So one of the key factors is that all those players played in three-piece bands, right? I mean, sometimes they had bigger bands, but they were able to command a huge audience with just 3 players and play in these power trios. Or even just on their own, you know, when you hear Stevie Ray Vaughan playing on his own, it just kind of fills the whole room. So what's going on there? Well, they had the ability to fill out the sound and make their playing so dynamic and so engaging. Just listen to what's going on here. All right, so that's the clue right there when you see him playing. If you think about it, there's 3 fundamental building blocks of music. You've got rhythm, melody, and harmony. All the great players like Clapton, Vaughan, Hendrix, these elements are always present in their sound. Now that might sound obvious, but as someone who's taught thousands of guitarists, I've noticed that many players actually lack these fundamentals in their playing. When they play, they're often focusing on licks and techniques or scales or even imitating other players. I mean, all that stuff's really valuable, but it's not core, it's not music, right? Those are things that you kind of lay on top of the basics. So to truly elevate your playing, you need to start with that foundation of actually playing music, which is rhythm, melody, and harmony. And then you layer all those other things like style and technique and tone on top of that. Now, think about Clapton and Stevie Ray Vaughan, right? They had to fill out the sound because they were playing in a 3-piece band. So they were basically playing rhythm and lead at the same time, right? And of course, they're incredible players, but that rhythm and that melody and that harmony, it's always implicit in their playing. So Stevie Ray Vaughan, for example, he basically kind of, just like in that example right there, he's playing rhythm and lead at the same time, right? And a lot of players, you can hear that in their playing. I mean, think Mark Knopfler or even Jimi Hendrix when they're playing. It's a combination of lead and rhythm all the time. I mean, think Hendrix, you know, when he's doing... There's rhythm, there's chords, there's melodies all interwoven into their playing. There's this kind of like rhythmic engine driving throughout their playing. I mean, you can even see it, like if you look at Stevie Ray Vaughan, when he's playing, his picking hand is constantly moving. That's the engine, that's the rhythm that's always in his playing. You can see that hand keeps swinging, keeps kind of playing that, keeping that rhythm going. So that's the secret right there, is whenever you're playing, be playing rhythm, melody, and harmony at the same time. So let me show you a couple of ways that you can do that. And these are really little fun exercises. So the first thing is, like with my band Everglades Rhythm, a lot of times what we're doing is we're playing classic kind of rock and roll songs, but rather than really focusing on getting a lot of cool lead guitar in there, the focus is on the rhythm, right? So for example, on a couple of Ventures songs, what I've done is consolidated the rhythm and the lead. So basically, you've got the rhythm part of the song going. So the first thing you want to do is focus on learning the basic rhythm for the song. So that song, for example, that's Sunny River by The Ventures. That's our version of it. It's got this basic rhythm going. Like that, right? And once you've got, if you really focus on that and you get that down, you practice it with a metronome, you get it really kind of built into your fingers so you can play that basic beat. If that's too much of a stretch as well, you can play like this. That's a good little trick where you can just play a power chord like this, or like this, and then you play the sixth chord like this. So you kind of mute the fifth string there. Or you can play like this. You know, so basically that's the basic rhythm, right? And then you're weaving the licks around that basic rhythm. And that's something the Ventures, 200 million records they sold. They're the biggest selling instrumental band of all time, guitar band. And, you know, that was their formula. I mean, they really focused on the rhythm, and then they had these amazing, beautiful melodies, and then they wove the licks around that. So, you know, if I tried to play that song without any rhythm, it's not really fun to play. You're just kind of like playing arpeggios. But when you add the rhythm in there, it creates a sense of movement and a sense of that harmony. But it also keeps you honest because it keeps that rhythm going. And without keeping that rhythm going, even if it's in the back of your mind, what happens is when you go to play your licks, you're going to tend to kind of speed up, or you're going to tend to kind of go out of time. But if you keep that rhythm going, you know, so it makes it a lot more fun. Or like another Adventures song that we did. Again, that song's got the basic rock and roll beat. Almost all the Everglades rhythm songs have that basic beat in them. Like that, right? And then in between that, you're weaving the licks around it. The rhythm there is a rolling bass line. So when you're playing licks like that, you know, you've got this kind of cool little melody in there. Simple melody. And then you got the rhythm in there. Like that. And then you're interspersing these cool licks around that as well. So the Ventures did this a lot, these awesome kind of sounding licks like... Now, if I just played that lick by itself outside of the context of that song, usually what you're going to do is play it way too fast, right? Because you just get excited and you play things too fast. But if you keep that rhythm going, you know, it's going to keep you honest, keep you in time. I mean, even things like that little riff where they go, those kind of riffs are so awesome. Those cool bar chord riffs that the Ventures did were almost like the template for heavy metal, you know. Anyway, so here's an easy way you can practice that idea, right? It's just this almost like idea of call and response in music, right? And if you take it right down to the basic blues, a great way to practice this is play your rhythm part, you know, blues and E, just like what Stevie was doing, right? Bar of rhythm, bar of lead, and practice it like that, you know. And so on. So you can have a lot of fun and just going bar of rhythm, bar of lead. And that's one of the best ways you can improve your playing, is to have that rhythm going and then go in and play your licks and go back and forth. And even eventually getting to the point where even when the rhythm stops and you're playing your lead, the rhythm's kind of still going on in the back of your mind or within your fingers. Like there's that kind of rhythmic engine going. You know, you can see that with Stevie Ray Vaughan. Now, if you really want to get good, the best thing you could do is play with other people, right? But something that's really a fun way of looking at this is thinking of your metronome as your third bandmate. So you're the rhythm, you're the lead, and then the metronome is the third bandmate. So rather than thinking of it as your enemy or this kind of thing that kind of drags you down, think of it as this kind of basic percussionist who's kind of keeping you honest, right? And when you add the metronome in and you start to kind of like really sync with it, it really starts sounding awesome, and it makes it way more fun, and it kind of slows you down, it keeps you honest, and actually will make your practice times a lot more satisfying. So I hope you have fun with this idea of playing rhythm and lead. And if you enjoy this video, remember to subscribe, and don't forget, turn it up.